What is covert entry?
Uh, that's another. It's a subjective term. Depends on who you ask and what the context is. I have my own specialized curriculum that's for the real world use of these non-destructive entry skill sets. But covert entry is a kind of a leg of that. There's firefighter respectful entry or through the lock entry, what they call that. There is there's locksmithing, which we're not, but we're similar to. So kind of a wishy-washy answer, but that's because this is a really strange field. The marketing's terrible. Product information on different manufacturers' websites aren't really good. It's not a very regulated market, and I don't mean government regulation. I mean things are equaled and the same and equivalent and fair across the board, just as far as information goes. So it's a really unique field, and I've watched it grow over the last maybe 2 decades, and I'm happy to be a part of it. It's a really cool skill that is easy to add into your toolbox, and then once you have it, you can take it really, really far as with your capabilities, whatever you want to pour into that.
What is the curriculum like? So maybe that will help define it a little bit more.
Sure. So my curriculum is we get students into our classroom and we teach a 2-day foundations course, and I wouldn't call it beginner, although you can take it if you have no experience. But you get in the classroom and we go, hey, here's one technique, here's your lock, here's your tools, go. And students within 60 seconds of showing up to the course start opening their padlocks immediately. And we're very different than an academic course where we don't start with a PowerPoint. We don't use PowerPoint at all. We don't start with long instructor bios. We don't start with emergency planning. We just go, all right, we all here? Great, start opening locks. So we do that. And then the very next thing that we do, number 2, is we go, okay, let's alter a variable, and you still have to get the lock open. Now what do you do? So the first thing our students learn is a crash course, and they immediately are opening locks. The second thing they learn is how to overcome different types of variables. And then we just start stacking that. So the curriculum is designed to be moved into the field when the students go, oh, I need to open this lock. Oh, I have this tool. Oh, I don't have the other tool, but what if I did? Should I go back and get it, or should I just start with the tools that I have in my pocket? And then, oh, what if this isn't working? How long do I spend on it before I switch to a different method? Or maybe there's 2 different locks on the obstacle and either one will get me access. How do I know which one to choose to work on first? So that starts within the first 10 minutes of class, which I love. So we produce thinking, operational students who can solve problems. And
that's really what it sounds like. You're throwing a lot of problem solving in there, and you're getting people to use their critical thinking skills and stuff and apply it to the situation.
Yeah.
How'd you get into that?
Oh, man. So as a child, I knew that this stuff was out there. My old man was a police officer, and so I saw him with my own eyes. We'd be locked out of somewhere, and he'd shove a credit card in the door jamb, and we'd be in. And we'd see it. He was the type of police officer that was always on duty, even when he was off duty. So we'd be driving around town and just on our way to the shopping mall or something, and he'd see a stranded motorist like looking in their window, locked out of their car. So he'd pull over, talk to him, and he'd get the Slim Jim out of the trunk and pop someone's automobile door open for him and let him in. So I knew those things existed. I was primed for that. I started breaking out of handcuffs when I was 7 or 8 years old. Not a lot, but we touched on it here and there. And I did normal high school stuff, and then I got into the military before my 20s and very quickly reconnected with that. I had a friend of mine that went to an Air Force SEER school, and this is post 9/11. So for the first time, they had changed it just from jungle survival, and they had started teaching urban survival in the military SEER schools. And he said, oh, yeah, I just got back from SEER school, and here's this padlock and these lock picks. Here, look what they showed us. And I went, and I popped the lock open, and I went, oh, yeah, that's right. I knew about this stuff when I was a kid. I did a little bit of it. And so maybe 20 years old, I dove headfirst back into that world. And I was practicing 7 days a week, multiple hours a day, just adjusting variables, trying new tools, looking through research, reading books, watching people's videos. And for 2 decades, I was learning, studying, writing my own case studies out of, hey, I tried this, it didn't work. I tried that, I tried that next. Maybe I should add this tool or remove this tool from my gear loadout, and just a wealth of data that turned into the curriculum that I now teach others. I had a little bit of professional training. I was not impressed with it. it's this is a skill set that is mostly taught academically, where your instructors say, here's your tool, here's your technique, it works on this lock. Okay, you're prepared. Go out, do great things. And in my opinion, you're not prepared if you don't know. If you know how a tool works, that's great. But the other half of that is, when will your tool not work? What are its failure points? What have you maybe been misled or lied to about? And if you're in the field and it doesn't work, how do you overcome that to make it work or make something else work? So our goal is always the final entry. And even on a successful entry for me in the field, a normal entry for me is, if I have to get someone, say, into a residential house, I will see some sort of target that I want to attack first, and I'll try that with non-destructive entry. And I'll go, ooh, this either it works and we're in, or if it doesn't work, what else do I do? If that doesn't work, how else do I adjust? If that doesn't work, how else do I adjust? So failure, 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 failure. And then something else gets me in and I go, yes, and now the success. So it's kind of like, you can look at it kind of like a fist fight. Like if you're in a fist fight and you get punched, you don't go, oh, I lost. That's a failure. Okay, I quit. You go, ooh, that didn't work. Oh, I got hit. Ooh, that didn't work. I got hit again. Well, I have to try something different. And it's this constant cat and mouse game of a little bit of a battle. And a lot of, especially the academic schools that teach this stuff, they don't talk about that existing. So I think that's where we shine, is the real application.
That makes sense.